For over 30 years, God has been faithfully moving through the ministry of Cornerstone Church. First Evangelical Free Church of Prescott hosted their first service on June 4th, 1989. The church began with a small group of people who had a passion for the Bible, worship, and international missions. What began as a small Bible study became a fledgling church. During the early days, the church met at 412 West Whipple Street, what is now the Kokopelli Eye Center. The church loved to meet and eat. The church also loved to serve the community. Dave Kennedy was installed as the first pastor in September of 1989, and he held that role for over 5 years. He passionately taught God's word and loved people. In 1995, the church called Ron Hammer as their second lead pastor, and he served for over 11 years. Ron loved teaching the Bible and theology. One of the church's founding members, Jonathan and Susan Koff, felt a call to Papua New Guinea and then moved to their mission field. In the late 90s, the church felt called to change their name from First Evangelical Free Church of Prescott to Cornerstone Church. When the Heights Baptist Church left their Rosser campus to move to Prescott High School, Cornerstone purchased the Rosser campus and relocated from the Whipple facility. In 2006, Ron Hammer stepped down and a period of transition began. These were difficult years. The Evangelical Free Church leadership encouraged the church to close the doors, and the church was a few weeks away from making that move when the leaders became convinced God wasn't finished with Cornerstone. In December 2008, John Dickerson was called to be the third pastor of Cornerstone, and the church began to grow. Under John's leadership and his genuine Jesus-focused preaching, the church grew from 50 to 500 in 3 years.
I don't know if you've ever had this emotion in you. I've had times, especially when I was even younger, when I really wanted to go change the world for God. You know, at times where you see footage of a tsunami at one of the Pacific countries, or you see footage of the earthquake in Haiti back when that happened, or you just hear some of the facts about the number of people out there who are starving or without clean water.
With as many as 4 services each Sunday at the Rosser campus, people flocked to the church. Through a personal connection, the opportunity opened up to begin holding Sunday services at the Performing Arts Center at Yavapai College. The first service was held there in October of 2012. In 2014, the church followed its missional culture and began a partnership with Edward and Barbara Mwanza and the Sarah Rose Foundation in Kitwe, Zambia. Since 2014, 5 teams have been sent to Zambia to serve alongside Edward and Barbara. In spring of 2015, John followed God's calling to Venture Church in Northern California after nearly 7 years of faithful service. Tom Garichet preached during the interim, and Clovis Barnett led the staff through a long search process. During this interim, the church paid off the remaining debt, and the members stayed faithful and prayerful. In July 2016, Scott Savage began his tenure as the 4th lead pastor of Cornerstone Church. Scott brought a passionate and authentic approach to preaching and a desire to continue the simple focus of Cornerstone's mission, helping people take their next step towards Jesus.
See, here's the reason why we need to celebrate. If we don't celebrate what God has done in the past, we'll be tempted to take credit in the future. If we don't celebrate what God has done in the past, we'll be tempted to take credit in the future. Part of the reason why we're even doing this today is that I am a flawed, broken human. And as a pastor, I am tempted to look at numbers like these and go, you're pretty awesome, Scott. But that's the way of my flesh. That's the way that my enemy wants me to go. And part of celebration is a deflecting of credit and praise to whom it belongs, Jesus.
In Easter 2018, the church had its largest Easter service ever, with nearly 1,000 people in attendance. Later in 2018, a missions partnership was initiated with One Mission in Puerto Penasco, Mexico. In 2019, over 175 people served over 600 hours during the second annual For Prescott Week. God has been exceedingly faithful to Cornerstone Church over the past 30 years, and we believe that the best is yet to come.